one that can see.
Logic before authority. Hi guys, this is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on Logic Before Authority. We're going to look at Iran and some possible evidence that either some nuclear weapons are being tested by Iran in Iran, and they're small ones. They're 1 kiloton is what I'm seeing. Okay, but we're going to look at some earthquake history, and we're going to look at the seismographs of nuclear explosions versus traditional bombs and versus earthquakes. Are they earthquakes or are they nuclear explosions? The seismographs tell the story. I'm not going to say for sure what they are. I'm not there. But I'm going to show you some data and let you decide. I wouldn't be live, I wouldn't be speaking these words if I wasn't concerned that something there is going on with that. I don't know what the elite's plans are in this world in running this war. I don't know what Iraq believes. I don't know what the United States military-industrial complex, in which I'm no part of, believes and what their plans are. But I've been watching the conflict, and just like I showed you the other day, that most of the radar systems and stations that are in the UAE and Saudi Arabia and Kuwait are all destroyed. Satellite photography. Well, now we're going to look at the earthquakes. These earthquakes have been bothering me, so I said, okay, I've got to spend some time and dig into this and see if I can understand it. So let me show you and see if you can understand it. Now, what you're looking at here are the most recent earthquakes in the area of Iran. Okay, and they're all tend to be along this area here. Now, earthquakes are not rare in Iran. Okay, they're just not. However, there's something going on here. Okay. Let's look at an example of one of them. Okay, this was on 3/3, March the 3rd. Okay, and of 2026, of course. And this is the one we're talking about here. It was a 4.4, and we're going to look now at the seismograph for that 4.4. This was recorded on a seismograph in the United Arab Emirates. Okay. Now you can see the images here. And I appreciate y'all guys being here. All of you, Super Dave, Super Mike, John Take, all of you guys, Carol, Global Coaching, Michael Burns, appreciate all of you, and many more that are watching this and will be watching this, hopefully by the many thousands that will see this. Because what I'm trying to find for us is something closer to the truth, because I don't believe nothing that the media says. So we have to do what we can do and use our own intelligence in order to try to understand this. So let's try to understand it. Here is an example showing you the difference between a earthquake on the left, just one earthquake, an example, and a nuclear explosion on the right. Okay, small nuclear explosion versus a earthquake on the left. Now that it can vary. If we look at these other examples here, the red is normally nuclear tests. The blue is earthquakes. Now, if you notice, the earthquakes, they can have a lot of different points of intensity. Okay, they go up and down in intensity. different spikes, you might say, in the S waves and the P waves, okay? You can get different intensities. But typically, you get, like it's here, you get a smaller intensity and then a bigger intensity down here. But typically with nuclear, there is only one main area of intensity, and then it teeters off, okay? Unless it was multiple explosions, but with a single explosion, there's one single area of intensity. Now, let's look at the earthquake in Iran the other day. What do you see? I see one area of intensity that looks very much like this. See that on the right? On the right, in the red, is supposedly nuclear. Okay. You see, it looks pretty much identical. Now, I'm no expert. I'm no expert at nothing. Well, I'm an expert at running my mouth. But other than that, nothing. I'm good at a lot of things, but an expert at nothing. Okay. But however, I got eyes. I have a fairly decent intellect, and I've got logic and common sense. And if we go and we look at all of these earthquakes, okay, over here on the left, these are all the most recent ones. There's a 4.1, there's a 4.0, there's a 4.4, another 4.0, that was in Turkey, 4.4. 4.1. I'm looking specifically for things just in Iraq. Okay, these guys here. So they're all right around 4.0 or just slightly above. Now, why is that interesting? Well, let me show you why that's interesting. It is interesting, and here's another example of that. This is in the last several weeks, earthquakes in Iran, okay? They're all around 4 or just above, okay? Now, I did a little searching, and I did use GBT, and I asked a few questions. I asked, are there any munitions or bombs that are in the United States or Israeli arsenal that can produce a 4.0 magnitude earthquake or higher that are not nuclear? No known conventional non-nuclear weapons in the U.S. or Israeli arsenal can produce a seismic signature or seismic signal around magnitude 4 or higher. A magnitude 4.0 seismic event requires roughly the energy of 1,000 tons of TNT, released in a way that efficiently couples into the ground. Conventional bombs are orders of magnitude smaller than that. Okay. Here's an example. Largest U.S. conventional bomb, the Moab. Okay. Mother of all bombs, right? Weight, 21,600 pounds. Explosive yield, 11 tons of TNT. Okay. And it says, if it couples into the ground, the seismic signal is only around a magnitude 2. That is 100x weaker than a magnitude 4. Okay? So here's examples of like an artillery barrage, what it causes. It causes a 0 magnitude to a 1 magnitude. A large conventional bomb, magnitude 1 to 2. Massive mining blast, magnitude 2 to 3. Small nuclear, which is 1 megaton. Okay, small nuclear, M4 or plus. Okay. So again, there are no known conventional bombs in the U.S. or Israeli arsenals capable of producing a 4 seismograph signal. To reach M4, you generally need either a 1 kiloton nuclear explosion or extremely large underground industrial blasts, which are hundreds to thousands of tons of explosives. Remember the one in Beirut? It wasn't even an M4. When that explosion went off in Beirut that everybody's seen, it wasn't even an M4. Okay. I don't have that pulled up here, but I've read it recently in the last 48 hours. Let's see. Okay, let's go back over here now. I think the seismograph pretty much tells the story, okay, for that explosion and the one just a couple of days ago. And if you look at the other ones, they look the same. These are different locations of seismographs, like that one I just showed you, which is in the United Arab Emirates. And then you can try to pull some of these other ones, but strangely, a lot of them are down. Okay, there's another one, but that was quite far away. I wanted to get the ones that was in Armenia, okay, that registered it, but it shows up different, obviously. Over distance, it changes. But this one here is just across the Gulf at the United Arab Emirates, okay, the UAE, literally just across the Gulf. I also wanted to take a look at our current maritime situation in the Strait of Hormuz, or however you pronounce it. Okay. And we pretty much have the same exact story going on that we had the other day. See this long line of boats? They go up here. They ride right along this invisible line that's in the water here. They go up here and they turn around and come back down. And of course, down here is more of them just sitting in a line, going up here, turning around, coming back down again. There's no one crossing this line that I've seen actually go across this line. Apparently, they're communicating with the ships and saying, do not cross this line. There's one of the oil tankers. There's another one. Let's track that one and see where it's been as of recently, if we can. Yeah. There's where that one's been. It went up. See, this is only the last 24 hours. So it was up here, came back down here, turned and came across, or floated across, came down here, went back up here, turned and went up here, and is now going up here and going to turn around and come back down again. That's that one. Let's take a look at another one. Let's look at, well, not a good example. Let's look at this one. We'll not be able to track it. Don't have a photo, but it's a tanker. Look, basically the same path. Okay. They're just zigzagging back and forth because of the situation. Let's look at one back here. See, that one's doing figure eights down here, and then going back up here to consider the possibility of being able to cross that line, but no one's crossing the line. What is this? Some kind of tanker. Let's track that one. Okay, so he's making a beeline for the line. And he was down here going backwards and forth, making a beeline. Again, this is just in the last one day. I don't have the premium plan to go back any further than 24 hours. But basically, the exact same thing that's been going on is still going on. No one is crossing this line right here. No tankers, at least. A sailboat or something other might be able to get across it, but I haven't seen any of that. I noticed in my video the other day, my audio was cutting me off a little bit. It may be doing that again today. If it is, I'm going to make some adjustments. I apologize if that's going on. But if you're getting here late, just a quick review. What we did was we looked at the recent earthquakes that are going on in Iran in the last week or so. And we took a look individually at the seismographs of those earthquakes and compared those to known earthquake signatures compared to nuclear explosion. Now, the sizes that are being seen are, again, around 1 megaton, right? Relatively small. Not small if you're there, but small relatively compared to what they claim they have, okay? And the signature of the seismographs are matching, well, they're matching a nuclear signature. There's only one major explosive area in the signature, and then it peters out and goes away. And all of the recent earthquakes that we've been seeing over there are around this size range. You know, again, I'll say it one last time. I don't know if it's them testing them, if it's Iran testing small nukes, or is Israel, the U.S., whatever, whoever, are they dropping small ones, trying to penetrate mountain bases and things like that? I don't know. I just know that I can't help but notice how these two signatures look very much alike. The one on the right in the red being a nuclear. You know? All right. Well, I wanted to update you today, and that's what I've done. I appreciate y'all guys' time. Not going to waste any more of your time, and I'm going to try to get a little bit of work done, actual work outside of this, so that way I can try to support myself. I'll try to stay on top of it, bring you more updates, and I will say a couple of things. One is that Israel just arrested today, I think it was, in the last 24 hours, a bunch of people who filmed missiles coming in to Tel Aviv and places. They're arresting people. They do not want people to see what's actually happening in Israel, in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem and places like that. My suspicions are a couple of things. The USS Abraham will be sunk. Likely not just that one. There will be another one. There will be multiple ships sunk, but USS Abraham Lincoln will be sunk. Some type of nuclear weapons will be used if they're not being used already. It looks like they're being used already, small ones. And I would also say that there's going to be things starting to happen in the United States, especially. Some of it are planned, maybe even all of it, planned false flag operations in order to create chaos and make it look like Iran is attacking us here. That way we have the right, and you create that problem of there's attacks going on in the United States, and people are going to scream out, please, government, nuke Iran. You've got to stop it. We can't deal with all this. You know how flighty the people are, because the people will join in. Even if it's a false flag, people will join in and say, yeah. Unfortunately, it's the way it is. Don't get involved in that stuff. But if you do, be careful and be a bystander somehow. I love you. I'm out of here. I'll bring you more as I can discern more. Bye-bye for now.
I've got one that can see.
Logic before authority.